Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Power Classes. In this video, we are starting class 11th Geography, chapter number 2, Weathering and Mass Wasting. So, in the previous chapter, we studied Earth movements. Now, we will understand how rocks break down, how weathering takes place, and later, how weathered materials moves down slopes. So, let's begin with the rock cycle. You can see the diagram here. So there are three major types of rocks: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. So that all we are going to learn one by one here. So first, igneous rocks. So igneous rocks are formed when magma or lava cools and solidifies. So they are considered the first rocks formed on the earth's surface. Next, it's sedimentary rocks. When existing rocks break into small particles. These particles are called sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited in layers. Over time, pressure and cementing materials convert these layers into sedimentary rocks, and these latter turn into sedimentary rocks. So, examples include sandstones, limestones, etc. Next is metamorphic rock. When igneous or sedimentary rocks are subjected to high heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. So remember, igneous to sediment, sediments to sedimentary, sedimentary to heat and pressure give forms. After heat and pressure, it forms into metamorphic rock. So this continuous information is called the rock cycle. Now, how do rocks break? So it's a simple question. So how will you answer? It is continuously exposed to water, temperature, pressure, air, plants and animals. All these factors can break the rock into small pieces. So rocks having joints, cracks or layers break more easily than the homogeneous rocks. So generally sedimentary rocks break more easily than igneous rocks. So now we will begin with weathering. So now we come to our main topic, that is weathering. So when rocks break down or disintegrate at the place where they are found, the process is called weathering. In simple words, we can say that weathering is breaking down of rocks in their original place into small particles. So it happens mainly because of, as we discussed now, is the water, temperature, pressure, chemical reactions and living organisms. So very little or no movement of materials takes place during weathering. Therefore weathering is called in situ process also. So weathering can also make the sharp edges of rocks round and smooth. Now, types of weathering. First is physical weathering. So first of all, they have given here, you can see the affecting factors. So affecting factors are water, oxygen, carbon dioxide, salt, heat, pressure, that we all learn, that we all going to that all things we are going to learn. So first we will see physical weathering. So the rocks break into smaller pieces without changing its chemical composition. That's why it is called physical weathering. And factors like physical factors like water, oxygen, carbon dioxide, salt, heat, these pressure, these all affect on weathering process. Next is chemical weathering. Just a second now. So next is chemical weathering. The minerals in the rock undergo chemical changes or decomposition. There is also biological weathering. You can see the name here, biological weathering, caused by living organism. So for our understanding, weathering is physical plus chemical plus biological. So it can be anyone. So now we will see these factors affecting on weathering. So first factor is water. So water is one of the most important agents of weathering. It enters small pores, cracks, fissures in rocks. Uh, Freeze and thaw weathering. In cold regions, You can see a freeze and thaw weathering. When water freezes, its volume increases, so it puts pressure on the walls of the crack. During the day, the ice melts. This process is repeated again and again. Eventually, the rock becomes wider and the rock breaks. This is called freeze and thaw weathering. It is common in areas like high mountains, high altitude regions, and cold regions. So, in this, just one thing remember, one easy trick: it ki water enters and cracks or pores. It freezes. When it freezes, it expands, and when it expands, crack widens and rocks break. Next is uh, in this, one more important topic is chemical weathering by water. So water can also cause chemical weathering, processes hydrolysis. So when water reacts with minerals present in rocks and changes their chemical composition, it is called hydrolysis. So it is particularly important in rocks containing silicate minerals. Next is solution. Sometimes minerals dissolve directly in water. This process is called solution. For example, minerals like calcium and magnesium can dissolve in water. In limestone regions, this process can be very important. Next affecting factor is oxygen. So, oxygen present in air and water can react with minerals in rocks. This process is called oxidation. You can see the rock in figure 2.3. So this gives a reddish or brownish color to the rock as shown in figure 2.3. The rusting of iron is familiar example of oxidation. In this, just remember oxygen plus minerals, it gives process of oxidation. When oxygen and minerals come in contact, oxidation happens. Next is carbon dioxide, also called as carbonation. So, carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and the soil can react with minerals in rocks. This is called carbonation. It is especially important in limestone. Carbonation can cause limestone to decompose. In humid areas, water helps this process occur more effectively. Next is salt. Salts present in rocks can expand and contract due to temperature changes. This can put pressure on the rock and cause individual grains to separate. This type of weathering is particularly common in coastal areas, region with alternating dry and wet condition. So you can see the figure 2.4 honeycomb weathering. It can produce honeycomb structures on rocks. An example mentioned in the here in the textbook is ki Hareshwar in Raigad district as an example of salt honeycomb structure. Next is heat. It is especially important in hot and dry regions. During the day, rocks become very hot. Different minerals in the rock expand at different rates. So at night, they cool and contract. Repeated expansion and contraction creates stress inside the earth, inside the rock. So eventually, the rock breaks down. This is called granular disintegration. You can see the figure 2.5 showing granular weathering. So this is called granular disintegration when individual grains get separated. Next is shattering. So in hot deserts, extreme heat can cause rocks to break suddenly. This is called shattering. So the breaking can sometimes produce a sound similar to firing of a pistol. Is called, this is shattering. Next is pressure. Sorry. First of all, learn about block disintegration. So in rocks like granite, cracks or joints may already exist. Repeated heating and cooling cause these cracks to become wider. So eventually the rock breaks into blocks. And this is called the block disintegration. A third agent is factor affecting is pressure. So rocks deep inside the earth experience enormous pressure from the rocks above them. When these upper layers are removed, the pressure on the underlying rocks decreases. The rock expands towards the surface. This pressure release causes the outer layers to separate. This process is called dislodgement or unloading. So when successive outer layers of a rock peel away, it is called exfoliation. You can see the below here, the figure 2.8 shows exfoliation. So it is common in granite. Exfoliation can produce dome-shaped rock surfaces. Now just we discussed about biological weathering. So in simple, just we will clear the concept of biological weathering. So just simply remember, biological weathering means the breakdown of rocks by living things like plants, animals, and microbes. You can see in figure 2.9, biological weathering, one picture shown here, how when a tree is grown, after that how uh, two parts of rocks became separated. So it's like it mixes physical splitting with chemical dissolving, and this slow process helps turn solid rock into rich soil. So just remember key things which break down the rocks in biological weathering are plant roots, lichens and mosses, burrowing animals, and microbes. This much is important in this. Just remember this. Just make concept clear so you will write it. So in the next video, we'll continue with the in more detail with biological weathering, anthropogenic weathering, factors controlling the rate of weathering, and importance of weathering. Now, till then, thank you everyone. Keep learning and keep growing with Brain Power classes. See you in next video.